During this month of April 20 years ago, 1 million lives were lost during the Rwandan genocide. The deliberate ethnic cleansing of the Tutsi by their Hutu neighbours, killing and displacing nearly 20% of the nation's population, left the country in ruins. Today, it's so illuminating that Rwanda has been lifted from an economic failed state to what it is right now, a glimmer of hope. In this special edition of Doing Business in Rwanda, we relay what transpired during this year's official commemoration day of the genocide against the Tutsi and highlight what different leaders said. On the 7th of April, all roads led to Amahoro Stadium here in Kigali City. Rwandans from all different walks of lives trekked miles to the stadium, the traditional venue of the commemoration event of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. This particular event attracted current and past presidents, including Thabo Mbeki, Salva Kiir, Uhuru Kenyatta, Benjamin Mkapa, and Ban Ki-moon, the UN Secretary General, among others, mainly to honor the memory of those who perished, to offer comfort to those who survived, and to recommit to the world free from the genocide. At the stadium, it was a somber mood as flags were lowered to half-mast in remembrance. While addressing foreign dignitaries, Foreign Minister Louise Mushikiwabo echoed the message that what transpired 20 years ago is a testimony that despite the genocidal regimes, a visionary leadership can bring a glimmer of hope.
20 years ago today, our country fell into deep ditches of darkness. Today, 20 years later, we are a people united and a country elevated. As for you, Mr. President, we simply say thank you. Thank you for leading valiant young men and women of this country to stop the genocide. Thank you especially for what our country has become today. We are surrounded by friends from Africa and the world, our hearts heavy, yet our spirits serene. And we remember 20 years later.
While the genocide took as many as 1 million lives, today it is so illuminating that the life expectancy in a formerly splintered African nation has since doubled. According to President Paul Kagame, 20 years ago, Rwanda was almost a failed state, with her citizens not expecting to achieve any levels of sympathy.
20 years ago, Rwanda had no future, only a past. Yet, today, we have a reason to celebrate the normal moments of life that are easy for others to take for granted. If the genocide reveals humanity's shocking capacity for human cruelty, Rwanda's choices show its capacity for renewal. Today, half of all Rwandans are under 20 years old. Nearly 3/4 are under 30. They are the new Rwanda. Seeing these young people carry the flame of remembrance to all corners of the country over the last 3 months gives us enormous hope.
During the commemoration events, among some of the international leaders that attended, including Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni, who explained that imported racist ideology promoted hatred and enabled the genocide, bringing countries in the region to their knees and threatening their viability as independent nations.
That is the tragic story of Rwanda, of Burundi, of Congo, of Uganda, of Sudan, and so on, where local reactionaries link up with foreign parasitic interests to cause hemorrhage of life on an unimaginable scale in Africa, and do so with impunity. I want to congratulate the people of Rwanda and the RPF for defeating these traitors and ensuring that they will never come back to kill the people of Rwanda again. We all can witness the economic growth in Rwanda and its stabilization.
This is Kigali City Tower. It's one of the first modern buildings and now a landmark from which the capital city now stands. 2 decades ago, the city was tainted with blood, and today it's one of the friendliest, cleanest and safest of Africa's cities, attracting numerous visitors and investors. Almost all the cities in Rwanda today are a replica of what you see in here, and they are clean with paved roads and rapidly growing neighborhoods. What you see in Kigali City today is a testimony that there is still a hope even when murderous and corrupt regimes are replaced with a leadership which is focused on maintaining peace and improving living conditions. This month, while Rwandans are remembering those who perished 20 years ago, particular commemoration can also be pegged with attention being given to the fact that the country has been lifted from an economically failed state to what it is right now. The country has reduced poverty from 57% in 2006 to 45% in 2011, electricity connections increasing by 55% in 2011, and tourism has grown to be a major economic resource. According to President Paul Kagame, all this has been achieved mainly because of the choices Rwandans have made.
We chose to think big. When Rwandans liberated our country, we were thinking big. When we created Rwanda's Vision 2020 and committed to meeting our development goals, we were thinking big. When we decided to make Rwanda attractive to businesses, we were thinking big. When we invested in a broadband network that reaches all our 30 districts, we were thinking big. When we became a regular contributor to United Nations and African Union peacekeeping missions, we were thinking big.
Investments in Rwanda has nearly tripled since 2005, and although it lacks many natural resources, the country has become economically vibrant, with most of its population covered by health insurance. In her remarks, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, acknowledged that Rwanda's vision is an African vision that should be at least emulated on continental level.
We note the determination of Rwanda to lift its people out of poverty, to reduce infant and maternal mortality, to restore and grow agriculture, livelihoods and jobs, and to ensure that boys and girls have access to education. We acknowledge the economic progress of Rwanda, amongst the fastest growing on the continent, and its commitment and vision to ensure economic diversification, infrastructure development, job creation, investment in its people, and to eradicate poverty.
You, the people of Rwanda, have shown the world another essential truth: the power of the human spirit. The resilience of the survivors almost defines belief. Children witnessed enough brutality to age them overnight. Yet you and your country have found a way to emerge from the depths, overcome frightful memories, and live again. You have shown the world that transformation is possible. I encourage Rwanda to continue deepening democracy and protecting human rights so that Rwanda's future is one of freedom, dignity, security, and opportunity for all.
Although it took 20 years to overcome the horrors of the genocide, we can only imagine that the reconciliation offers similar hope to other troubled parts of the world. That is it for this special edition of Doing Business. You can share your views by simply following us on Twitter. Our handle is @DBIR360, or just log on to www.cnbcafrica.com. I'm David Keziomsoke, wishing you well.